Well, I'm working on the 60 again. I was finishing polishing the mains, turning the crank slowly and polishing and inspecting it. And I had a polish next to the flywheel on the end of the rear main journal. Quite a lot, but I got that all done. And my next step was I was going to clean out this hole here. You see the stud on this side for the rear main cap, when I took it off, the stud on this side came out. And I figured it'd just be a blind hole or whatever. I was going to clean it out, and lo and behold, when I blew in it, you can see all the droplets of rusty colored water. Water came flying out all over the place. Now we're going to go look in from the side. And so there must be a hollow chamber underneath there that's full of water. And that's not good, because you don't want water coming out of there getting into the crankcase. And if you look closer, here on the side, there's an expansion plug on each side, as if that would be an opening into that chamber. So I'm going to try removing those expansion plugs and see if water drains out of there, because if there's a chamber in there that can, that apparently caught water, I got to clean that out somehow. And the only way I could see water would have got in there over the years, because there was no water in the crankcase, is this sat outside, its whole life. And when it sat there without being moved for 50 years, that water would have, when it rained, went around the crank and came in the crankshaft and into that chamber, and over years slowly filled water in it. I'm also curious on the center main now, because there's an expansion plug there too, but the center main has a drain here that goes from the front half of the crankcase to the other. But first I'm going to take that expansion plug out back here somehow and check into that. So I'm going to see if I can get that out of there. Let's see what happens here. It's moving in, but it isn't rocking like generally an expansion plug will kind of tip sideways. Oh, and water came out. Look at the water running out. Look at the water running out. Now I'll have to figure out how to get that plug out of there. I'll get it out though. See, it's greasy in there, but there was water in it. I believe there's a plug on the other side, so I'll be taking the other one out too, and then I can work from side to side with a wire to try and push it till I can get a hold of it and pull on it. But I'll have to get them out. In hindsight, I should have went in there with a welder probably and welded on it and tried pulling it that way. And look at this. It has, I suspected it because I thought I found it in some literature that they called it a saddle. The lower half of the bearing is removable from the crankcase. You can see that I slid the bearing shell out around the crank. So you actually could put you could probably get new bearings in this thing, rebabbited bearings with a new bearing cap and a lower saddle without disassembling it, the whole engine. So now I'll be able to clean underneath there real good. That makes me actually happy. I had wondered about taking those out, and it came out quite easily now. And now I can see that chamber where the water was in, where I took that expansion plug out, that's immaterial because chamber is not open to any place where the engine oil goes. So when I was blowing in that bolt hole, it must have just been the water coming back up out the bolt hole. So I'll be able to clean it all up, clean up this bearing shell good, and reinstall it. But I'm actually glad. I probably won't take the other two out because they were all inside where it was real clean, where this rear one was exposed, where moisture could get in from the back and, you know, get it dirty and corroded. So tomorrow I'll probably get at cleaning this up and cleaning everything up around the crank real good and putting the bearing shell back in, and then put the cap on and shims with Plastigage and check for clearance. So I think that's it for today.